Hello and welcome to Northampton Town of Sanctuary's flagship event for Refugee Week, in which
Hello, I'm Yusuf, and because this year's L12 week theme is we cannot walk alone. We're gonna be showing you videos about the talents of young people from the L12, and yeah.
Fantastic. So we welcome you to the Northampton Town of Sanctuary's event for Refugee Week, in which we're celebrating the contributions of young people we support. I am Gray, the chair of Northampton Town of Sanctuary, and Yusuf as well. So Northampton Town of Sanctuary is a charity linked with the national movement City of Sanctuary, which aims to make communities welcoming places for people seeking asylum. As such, we've partnered with the University of Northampton and its student society, Student Action for Refugees, also known as STAR, to host this event.
So we need to raise money to help support the L2 as well. So throughout this evening, if you wish to donate there and support the L2A, you can use the golden given link. It will also be in the link below.
Most of the people seeking asylum who live in Northampton are young and separated from their families. So we host a weekly youth group named Learn to Live, better known as L2L. At this group, we build a sense of community and practice conversational English in a comfortable environment. We offer games, a meal prepared by the young people themselves and volunteers, and group work sessions. We also host a weekly football club and English classes.
So let's just introduce you to some of our hardworking volunteers from the L2O and the Student Action for Refugees.
Hi, we are students of the University of Northampton, and we are also members of Student Action for Refugees, also known as STAR. We also volunteer for Learn to Live and Northampton Town of Sanctuary. And in this video, we're going to talk about why STAR is so important to us and why we are volunteering.
Hello, my name is Izzy Rainbow, and I've been a part of STAR since 2019. I was on the committee, and this year I'm just a member of STAR.
My name's Kieran. My role with L2O is just a volunteer, so I help out with the youth sessions on a Friday night, and I've also been a coordinator for some of the sporting activity.
Hi, I'm Tash Murphy. I'm on the committee of STAR National Charity, and I'm also a youth worker for L2L Learn to Live Youth Group.
So I'm Pel.
I'm Crystal.
And we are STAR volunteers!
So my responsibilities include sort of running the youth group and doing fundraising activities. So one of the things which we've managed to do at Northampton is to set up a football club, and also I was involved in the English classes as well. So we would have sort of like a weekly class where young people would come and we'd try and provide for what they wanted to do.
I was part of English as well, so I planned a lot of the English classes to sort of fit their needs and what they want to learn. So that was really fun, and I learned a lot from doing that.
I was mainly a sort of sport coordinator alongside my volunteering stuff, and worked to get a team together and get a kit and all that sort of admin work. I'm also sort of taking a role on for Refugee Week this year.
I think the main responsibility for me is to make sure everyone's happy, and like if someone needs to come and speak to me, like they can see me as like a friend.
You can depend on each other. You don't have to hesitate to approach a friend because, you know, that's what friends are for.
What is your proudest moment as a volunteer with LTL?
Oh, proudest moment. One of my proudest moments was when I went to the council and spoke on a debate about supporting refugees and with financial aid. And even though they passed it with the voting, they then decided not to implement it. So I know that had a real impact, my speech, on what they decided to do, because it highlighted how sort of damaging it would be to the community.
My proudest moment is probably watching, because most of us now have been volunteering with the group for about 2 years, so you really see people, the young people when they arrive and they're not speaking very much English, or they're only staying with sort of friends who they already know. And then really you can watch them grow over time, and now they've got jobs in the local community, you know, they're going to college, they're learning English, and they're becoming a part of our community. So that makes me feel really proud to see that growth in the young people.
ever since I introduced, I met this charity. I've been happy and having new friends. Obviously, signing with the Wales team Sunday league, and I started playing with them. As a football lover, it's one of the proudest moments to have in my life.
You know what, there are so many proud moments. I think a general one, last year when we did English at the university, the turnout was quite big, and I just remember the boys being so committed, really putting that all into English, not being afraid to ask questions, and just sharing so much laughter. It's just really great, honestly.
Do you remember your first game for Royals and they were getting beat about 4-0 and you got subbed on, and obviously I introduced you to the manager and the team. Then you scored, so I was really proud of that, because obviously for me it was a big thing, because that was you going into that community, a new community, and you got on exactly the right foot with them. So yeah, that's a really proud moment for me.
Yeah, that was proud and that was for me. What was your motivation to start volunteering?
Well, Danielle Stone approached me, because I've worked with Danielle in the past, doing a few different things, and she told me about the group. I wasn't aware of their work, and I went along, was quite excited to see what you guys were doing. But then I went on the first week and you're all really welcoming, really nice, and obviously some of you were telling me about your stories and your history, and I just thought anything I could do to help. And obviously that was in facilitating sports for a lot of you.
I think I've always known that I want to work in the humanitarian sector, but then definitely university sort of like it gives you the knowledge of the plight of people seeking asylum and what countries people are coming from, what they're fleeing from, and how people are received here with the hostile environment. And STAR is another really useful source of this as well. So I think that initially started, but then once you join the youth group, I don't think you can leave. Like, it's too good.
I didn't know much about it. I didn't know much about what was going on, but I've learned so much from it. It really has been like the happiest accident.
Having those people around and meeting them every week is one of the best experience I have so far.
So L2L is one way to strengthen the community, but we're not the only group working towards a more inclusive environment. We now welcome Danielle Stone, the Secretary of Northampton Town of Sanctuary, Abigail Marsden, the Strategic Manager for Corporate Parenting for West Northamptonshire Council, and Matthew Peleszok, the Community Sports Development Officer for Northamptonshire Sport. So could each of you tell us a little bit about your role in more depth and how you support these young people into integrating the community? First, Abigail, can I come to you first? Can you tell us a little bit about your role?
Of course, thank you. As you said, I work for Northamptonshire Children's Trust, and we have responsibility and a role to support any young person who arrives in the county under the age of 18 who doesn't have an adult or somebody with parental responsibility able to care for them. So when these young people arrive in the county, they quickly come to our services, and we provide them with basic things such as a place to live, people to look after them, and they then begin to make sure that they can reach their full potential, and they have all the other opportunities that other young children living in Northamptonshire will have. So a place to go to school or a college, access to healthcare. And also access to any other supports or services they may need to integrate here in the county, be local resources, places to worship, places to meet people, which is why organisations like yourselves are so important, but also ongoing advocacy, people to talk to so they can help understand how they can secure their future in the country, so access to legal advice. There's many and varied ways that we seek to support the young people, and our responsibilities will then continue post 18 up potentially into a young person who could be 21 or 25, depending on how they've secured their status in the country, the education or the employment they're accessing. And it's delightful when we see so many of the young people going on to university or to employment and really finding their identity and their own community here in the county.
Oh, that's fantastic, Abigail. Thank you very much. Can I go next to Danielle? Danielle, who's with somebody else, I think. Danielle, can you hear me okay? Maybe not. Okay, I'll try. Matthew, are you okay to step in and just say a little bit about your role?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Matthew Peleszok. I work for Northamptonshire Sport, which is a charity that aims to get more people more active more often. We're based now at Delaprey Abbey in the centre of Northampton, but we cover the whole of the county. So my specific remit within the organisation is working within the children and young people's team to get more 14 to 24-year-olds active. So we've upped the age range, which will be good for some of the L2L users because of the effect of COVID and looking at the inactivity levels of some of the young adults. And I also lead on our tackling inequalities work. So trying to engage with residents across the county from 5 to 105 who've been disproportionately affected by COVID, trying to get them more active again. And that's where we've linked in really well with L2L and the good work they're doing to establish the football club, which I think we'll discuss in a bit.
Matthew, as you were saying, so how has sport made the L2L stronger?
I think the group just enjoy it. The smile on their faces when we first set it up was a pleasure to see. We were lucky that the University of Northampton gave us the facility, gave us the space to make it happen. We met the young people beforehand to talk through what they wanted, to allow them to take some ownership of it. Because it's all well and good putting an activity on, but we want this group to see it gel and develop, to make it their club, not just someone or facilitating them kicking the ball around. And just the way they interact with each other, it doesn't matter what country they're from, the universal language of football or sport brings them all together. Or it's celebrating when they make a mistake, celebrating when they score a goal. Just a massive smile on their face. And that's what I want to see. I'm a sports fan. And just seeing young people enjoying themselves is so good.
That's fantastic, Matthew. Abigail, can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that the young people face?
Of course, I have to really just come on the back of what Matthew said, because one of the biggest challenges is actually that sense of belonging, that sense of identity in a new place, a new country with many different rules, some written, some unknown. And when you see the young people playing football, playing cricket, that sense of being part of something, it's so important. So it's just fantastic. You're right, just to echo that sense of belonging and being part of something is so important. So there are many challenges that the young people have to face. And some of them we can really help with in terms of finding somewhere to live and working excellently with organisations such as the university or the colleges in the county to be able to access education, to make sure that the young people can achieve their amazing potential. And actually fascinates me, and I'm astounded time and time again about what these young people achieve once they've actually feel safe and secure in being cared for here in Northamptonshire. Because actually a challenge that they do have is feeling safe in an unknown country, safe in an unknown place, and potentially from influences that may actually be quite poor or unsafe for them. So actually it's really important that we help the young people feel safe. We give them the opportunity to achieve what they've come to achieve to the country. We don't forget their history at all and the experiences they've been through, because often they could be difficult experiences, some that we will never know, that we have to help the young people understand, recover from potentially. And they may also include actually helping them understand what's happened to birth families. So we work with organisations such as the Red Cross and yourself to try to help young people keep in contact or find what's happening to their birth families. often the health needs of the young people can be very different to maybe children that have been brought up in this country. So we have to help with things of catching up with immunisations, particular examinations. As a health service here works really well and has really grown to understand how to help the young people over the 5 or 6 years or so that we've been really trying to understand better the needs of these young people. But you can't underestimate the hugeness of coming to live somewhere like Northamptonshire, from the many and varied countries that the young people travel from and through. Simple things such as having ID, proving who you are, proving how old you are, to the much more complicated things around integration, finding a job, becoming purposeful, or often in the backdrop of actually not knowing whether you're legally going to achieve a status within the country, whether you may be asked to leave. So, as I said, from the small to the huge things, there are many challenges these young people face every day.
I think that's so crucial is some of that sense of identity within the county. So we're looking to start working with these young people on that coaching side, the employability work, so that they can start to fully integrate into Northamptonshire and take ownership, see a future within the local town that they've grown to love and be welcome into. So looking at how we can support them in that, how we can integrate the football players and humans into the local football clubs, into the local society, so they start creating friends from the wide, diverse culture that we have across Northamptonshire.
Yeah, absolutely. And we certainly never make assumptions, and seeing organisations such as yourselves and others in the country who actually starts with talking and involving the young people on what actually will work for you, what it is, what will help you integrate. So actually having that dialogue, which can be difficult because initially very often that has to be done through interpreters, using people that help us communicate. I mean, it amazes me every day how quickly these young people, how you manage to grasp English. If I could grasp another language that quickly, I'd be really pleased. But initially, it's that difficulty in kind of talking and communicating, understanding what's happened, doing that through interpreters. So there's so many barriers that have to be overcome and thought about.
I think that's where some of the STAR volunteers have been amazing. Their multilinguistic skills of being able to interpret it into, might not be the native tongue, but a close enough one for someone else to then pass that message on. The work the STAR do with the young people is amazing.
Absolutely. And it's very humbling to see people giving up their time so generously and seeing that. And I do have to sort of thank other organisations who really over the years understand and got better at supporting. So the university, as I said, the colleges, our health colleagues, really trying to work hard to recognise that, you have to do things slightly different for this group of young people to really be able to achieve what we want, that sense of integration into Northamptonshire. Yeah.
There's one other group that's been very helpful as well, is the Red Cross locally.
Absolutely. Yeah, certainly.
Well, thank you. Thank you both. I think Yusuf, do you have a question now?
Oh yeah. So how did you work together? How can we work together to find solutions to these challenges?
I think you just keep the dialogue going. Keep talking to one another. You strengthen numbers. We're a county now with plenty of resources to join our work up to find where football might not be the sport for some, what sport or what physical activity could be for them, and then who can we use with them to send that message in. So looking at our colleagues within public health, if there's any mental health support that's needed, and using sport as the tool to get them there, and then what other messages can be pulled in through that so they're being supported through physical activity. Obviously, I'm biased there with sport. It could be music, art, but just get them there with what they want, and then support them in other ways.
And I absolutely agree with that. And actually, it's a different type of the same thing. We had to communicate with the Children's Trust, with all those other agencies who actually support us. So we work, as I said, with all the health and education and all the other authorities to make sure that they are attuned to the specific needs of these young people, for your young people, to make sure that what we do make available actually does help you integrate here. We've also taken time to go and look up and down the country at other places who support young people to see if Northamptonshire could do any of their bits better. So yeah, we've gone to London. We're part of a regional group, which actually so we're sharing ideas of how to support everybody. And that may be as simple as trying to share ideas or to support foster carers or other people who care for young people in making sure that we get the young people placed in the right place with maybe some people with a similar background, to understanding the real importance of what we call the voluntary and the charity sector, who really, grassroots level are the other people who are seeing and supporting these young people, and how we can support those organisations.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of these young people, and thank you for that conversation. Very illuminating indeed. I suppose we ought to get back to the Golden Giving link. Can we show that link again? It was shown earlier. I think it's probably a good time to have a look at that again, if that's okay. Thank you very much. Okay, while it's important to recognise the hard work of all the people like Abigail, Matthew, and others that are involved in this, we also need to acknowledge the individual agency of the young people themselves. Kidani is one young person who's been a member of L2L for 3 years. He now works as a barber. Kidani has shared with us photos of his skills, which we will show you now.
سعداي صوانا مساتو أبدا ما يسريتو كماي كماي أمينا كماي 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 كمينا
So great work, Kidani. If you don't already know, Kidani is an awesome worker. Now, here is a video that I made. Hello, I'm Yusuf and I'm part of the L2L and I just make games for fun. So let me just show you a couple of games I've made from before. So this was my first game. It really took a while to make and I actually randomly just quit making it. But then comes this game. I made it in 2 days. And it actually turned out pretty good. I actually made it in the last 2 days of 2020. And that's what it's really based around. And this is where I actually got into 3D game development. And the red square is actually, well, the red cube is an AI. And really turned out pretty well. So yeah. And then this is where the actual work comes in. This game took, I think, like a month or two. Really took a while, but it turned out really worth it, so yeah. And then comes this game. This is by far my favorite game. It just, there's something special in there. I don't even know what it is. It might seem not like a lot compared to the other ones, but it is my favorite.
That's amazing, Yusuf.
Thank you, thank you.
So we remind them about the Golden Giving link again? Yeah, I think that'd probably be a good point to remind it again about the Golden Giving link. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next video shows a poem spoken by Pel Ahmed. The poem is about a man who talks about his senses in Kurdistan and how he connects his senses with nature. The man talks about how he craves for the nature of Kurdistan and how it is home to him. He says things like, my tongue was a vessel for the sounds of nature, my breath reflects the winds of your nature, and my lips are craving the fresh mountain water. So over to Pel.
This is a Kurdish poem called Kurdistan by an unknown poet. Kurdistan, Jegami J Hazar Salim, Perverde Am Dol U Ser Lutke Uyalım, Hanasam Terbuni Bay Questa, Du Lewum Parawe Beferwanta, Srinzim Rahatu Ziwi Zerkafta, Bezerde Ser Befri Ewara Wakta, Gwem Fere Bisni Khora Qalbaza, لو عاستی جور بفره دوین گیای سوزا زمانم پشکتوی قصه جوانتا قصه ناو گورانی شاخکانتا هی ناو چیروکی گوی آگر دانتا هی ناو لای لای منالانتا قلبی بخوینی ناو دمارکانم بزبری عشقی تو ایدا ازانم عشقی تو ایدا که خومو هاوخوینم هر لپشتی باوکا تو و هوینم اشتیت هوینی کرو کروزا تتاقی کرد ما بی لتیای برزا.
Thank you, Pel. The next video is a musical performance by Ephraim, and alongside is a poem written by Ephraim, informed by the perspectives of 5 young people.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone. Tell L12 you are welcome to everyone, a place we can go to for home.
The past is the past, let's be happy. Fight for the present that we deserve. A bright future is yours.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone.
Like the umbrella left outside when it is raining. When they open the door, all my negative things are going away.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone. Reach out your hand to someone new. Their freedom is bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone.
Tell L12 you are welcome to everyone, a place we can go to for home.
The past is the past, let's be happy. Fight for the present that we deserve. A bright future is yours.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone.
Like the umbrella left outside when it is raining. When they open the door, all my negative things are going away.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone. Reach out your hand to someone new. Their freedom is bound to our freedom.
We cannot walk alone.
We cannot walk alone.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone.
Tell L12 you are welcome to everyone, a place we can go to for home.
The past is the past. Let's be happy. Fight for the present that we deserve. A bright future is yours.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone.
Like the umbrella left outside when it is raining. When they open the door, all my negative things are going away.
We cannot walk alone. We cannot walk alone. Reach out your hand to someone new. Their freedom is bound to our freedom.
We cannot walk alone.
We cannot walk alone.
So before we show you our last video about L12's memories, we want to say thank you for watching our video. We have some events remaining which you can find on our website, one of them being a football match on Saturday the 19th.
Very much looking forward to that football match. Okay, happy memories are really important for everyone, especially for people who've lived through traumatic events. They help to move forwards and connect with their new community. Here are some of ours. Okay, well, I think that just leaves only one more thing to be said. Should we count it all together, Yusuf?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for watching.
joining us, and goodbye.